So yeah, we have seen amazing changes, and this is really interesting.
So here I am with flouring royalty, Mark Laucke from Laucke Flour Mills. Mark, there's a lot of turmoil going on, lots of panic buying, people filling up their pantries. One of the biggest things that most people have heard about is the toilet paper, but there are other products out there that people are buying, with those being long life products, whether it's long life milk and pasta and canned veg and canned soups and things like that. But what most people are underestimating is how much flour we're actually selling in the stores, because pretty much everything that you eat might have a bit of flour in it. So how have things affected your business when we're talking about flour?
Well, this coronavirus thing, I must say, has really changed the buying patterns of consumers all over the world, and Australia is no exception. Now, the thing, of course, is that people always think about protecting themselves, and they think about, well, you know, if we're going to get ill, if we go out, let's cook food at home, let's get in control of our own lives again. So flour is a staple, always has been. It's included in so many things. It's got a shelf life of years. And so people quite often depart using flour and creating food at home because they may consider convenience and so on. But when it gets back to the fundamentals of life, they go back to flour.
Yep.
So yeah, we have seen amazing changes, and this is really interesting. We've been discussing it each day as part of the business. Everybody's been gathering information because we want to plan ahead. Most people, all consumers, and that includes us as well, are wary of going to public places and spending time in close proximity to other people. So it's not just eat at home, they're actually not going out to public functions and public venues. Overseas students fail to come into Australia because of coronavirus risks. The universities are depopulated. So think of now Melbourne City Central. Think of so many places in Australia where there's a very high proportion of university students. All of the cafes, bistros and eateries there have plunged in their sales, and they aren't buying flour. So we've got a downturn there. But the funny thing is, equally, while restaurants and all other places like that may be doing it tough, and they are, other places are doing much better. So it's all a case of considering who they are and where they are. Food places that take food to premises, they're doing very well, thank you. Because this isolating oneself from the general population so as not to catch or even transmit the disease is in everybody's minds. Most of the flour I create goes to professional bakers. I've mentioned those. A lesser percentage actually goes into small packs of flour to go into supermarkets, yep. And what we used to call pre-mixes, but we call them mixes now, much like those we see on the shelf here.
Yep.
And they are to make it simple and convenient for a person to create lovely food at home. And so they've just actually been walking on the shelves. We did a 3-day comparison earlier this week with last year, and we're up between 200 and 600% on all these lines. That's not a bad increase.
So what have you had to do with demand? I'm assuming you've had an increase in demand then, because some are down, but the majority is up with a big increase. What have you had to do down at the warehouse or at the factory to be able to combat that?
Yep, so we are an agricultural-based business. We buy wheat. Wheat is grown once a year.
Yep.
So Australia really exports 5 or 10 times as much grain as it consumes internally. Okay. So we've always got more than enough grain available. We always stock normally 3 months supply of wheat as a risk management quality thing.
Yep.
Flour milling, that's a weekly and monthly thing. So some flours, we make about 30 or 40 different types of flours for different end products and different processes. So we've always got a good stock, a good buffer stock there. And so our flour stocks have been covered, but our buffer stocks have covered this. Yes, our flour mill has been running some extra time in anticipation of needing to fill up our flour bins and stocks. At the same time though, we do these premixes here. Yep. On really a replacement thing. Yep. We keep a week or two stock in the warehouse, and the one reason why we keep a week or two stock is it's a bit like fine wine. It actually improves with age.
Yep.
And so after a couple of months, it's better than the day it was created. Yep. With the replacement of stocks thing, well, now we're into full production mode. So our premixing facility is pulling flour like it's never done before.
Yep.
It's running 7 days a week,
Yep.
24 hours a day, and we're just keeping up.
Okay.
Some of the lines we're unable to supply as supermarkets and other distributors draw upon them, but we're only a couple of days behind.
Yeah.
Our real worry actually is having our workplace teams become ill.
Yeah.
So we're doing everything we can to ensure especially proper hygiene.
Yep.
Regarding communicable disease. We're also worried how we can manage it if something happens. So what we're doing is things like saying, right, we've got 3 shifts. We've got 3 separate groups of people that come in and work,
Yep.
roughly 8 hours per day, 24 hours a day,
Yep.
plus backups. And so what we're trying to do is limit the interaction between these work groups as and when they come to
Yep.
work, so that they don't cross-infect each other if
Yep.
something should go wrong.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do everything like that.
You have to make sure that you're limiting it as much as you can.
Well, we just simply apply, and so we've got very high level HACCP. HACCP is a fantastic system. So we've applied now HACCP to the coronavirus thing. And that's actually giving us some really good awakenings of how we can do things better regarding risk managing who's coming to work, what they do while they're at work, and in fact what they do when they're at home. We're largely risk managed in a small degree by our location, because all of our production facilities in country areas, small towns.
Yep.
So that's a good thing. The real point is that every responsible person I know in the food industry, and most of them are, they're all looking at this in the right way, and I think that they're taking measures that would surprise people within government and people within public service departments.
Yeah.
Because they're quick on their feet, they have to, their business and their livelihood is on their line, same for the employees.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's far more in advance of risk managing adverse outcomes than most people are aware. And I think everybody can actually take comfort from that.
There's no doubt there's been an upturn for you. I guess for everyone, it's a matter of sustaining this for the rest of the year. So do you think you're going to be able to do that?
I believe that this coronavirus thing will become under control. However, what does control mean? It means that you're risk managing things so as to get the best outcome.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that there's still not more infections going to occur and lots of more people die. Control means that they've got a handle on it now and they're doing what they think they need to, and things are going to get better. So that's fantastic. What's going to happen with Australian consumers and buying? I believe that we're going to see like waves coming into the beach. We've seen 2 waves now.
Yep.
We've seen the initial upturn in purchasing from consumers, and that's abated somewhat. I believe that we'll see another wave where the people who are less easily panicked will start using some logic, and they didn't buy in the first wave, but they'll go and buy in the second wave.
Yep.
I think each wave will become a little bit more considered and sensible, and the storm will abate, and these waves will pass, and calm will come again, and that may take a month or 2 or 3. And then we'll probably see a downturn for supermarkets where people have got stocks at home,
Yep.
just steadily start using them again and return to their normal buying things. So I guess the worst thing that a food producer can do is really fail to keep analysing what's happening and produce too much, and then have something that they can't sell, and then it's perishable, and they end up having to dump it. Now that would be a terrible thing for everybody.
Yeah. So there you have it. Very intensive update from Mr. Laucke. It's always good talking to Mark. He knows so much. I do call him the Oracle. We call him the Oracle about everything, but he really knows a lot about flour, grains, the whole process. So thanks very much, Mark, for coming in.
My pleasure, JD. Thank you.
Sweet.